Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we're looking at the GM Scar again because I've got an event coming up. I want to deck this out. You'll know from previous videos, if you watch the channel, we equip this with an EGLM. That will be to use tag rounds if all the equipment that I've ordered turns up, because my god, buying tag rounds in 2025, super difficult to get everything that you need. But I want to spec this up so it's in line with my other MWSs, my normal choice of barrel, choice of hot rubber, a better hot nub, and I also want to get rid of that spring twang, so we're going to try and do that as well. I have also got other bits for this which are turning up tomorrow, so I've got a new stock, which is the ACR stock, which I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but I'm going to try and slim the back of this down. It also comes with the sling points that I kind of need, so we'll be looking at that. But today we're going to be looking at doing the barrel upgrade, shall we say. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the lower off first. Let's grab my hammer here. Just going to tap this from in out. And we should be able to extract that out of the way. And we need to get this barrel assembly out, so we're going to start by removing some screws. I think these are a T20, which are on tight for some reason. Let's grab our trusty cloth and use that to get a bit of extra torque. There we go. And you'll, if you do watch the channel, you'll know that I did trial putting the M-lock front end on this. Wasn't entirely impressed with it. Not that it was bad, it just didn't really make sense for me. So what I'm going to be doing, I think it's these screws here. We'll have to take this, I think we have to take this front part off as well. So these are also T20s, and they're capsulated, which you can hear it clicking there. So we've got one of those on each side. The front one was a little bit more loud and proud than that one. I believe this is a 2.5 that we need for this. I'm sure it's this screw, isn't it? Pretty certain. It could be. I could be wrong. I don't think it is actually. I think the screws that we have to loosen are the Torx that are also encapsulated. So I can't remember if it's both. I think it is. We'll loosen these off. They're nicely held in place when you loosen them, so they're not going to go rolling across your bench. So 1 and 2. And now we should be able to push this forward. If I'm not mistaken, let's make sure these are wound out all the way. There we go. We can push this bracket forward, and we can actually pull the barrel assembly out the bottom like that. And that is all good for that. Now what we will do is we'll extract the stock. So we'll pull that off, pull the spring and guide rod out, and then we'll extract the bolt like so. There we go. So I've ordered a bunch of parts for this. I've ordered the ACR stock, I've ordered a steel bolt, which I'm not even sure, I wasn't even sure about ordering because I don't really feel like it needs a steel bolt, but I thought it'd be good to show off on the channel, so I ordered it anyway. Really nicely machined this. I did order a 1 joule nozzle as well, just in case I need it. But let's get to this. Now, we do have to be a bit careful with this because apparently, if I remember correctly, this screw here, I'm sure is thread locked in. So we will be applying a little bit of heat to that. if I can locate my little Bunsen burner, and then extracting the screw. So I'll do with my little blowtorch lighter. Of course, of all things, whenever you need it, it disappears. So I'm going to apply a little bit of heat to this with a lighter here, just being very careful. Like that. And hopefully 3 mil. What do I do with a 3 mil? 1.5, 2.5. Still in the rack. I think it's 3 mil. No, it's not. It's not even a 3 mil. It's 2.5. We'll see if that was enough. Yes, it was. So we can extract this, and it loosens this bracket off the bottom here. The way that they spoke about this, I thought it was going to require a lot of heat, but it really didn't. So let's take this little bracket off the bottom here. And what do we need next? So just trying to figure out how this system works. So I'm thinking we have to take this wheel off the side. So let's start with that. So 2 screws, we should be able to loose this off here. We've got a little metal plate. Like that. We have a plastic wheel which can then slide off. I'm just placing these in the same orientation so we don't get mixed up. That then enables us to move the hop arm out of the way, and I'm wondering if then we can extract the hop. There we go. And we can extract the barrel. I believe it's a 250mm barrel on these. Now I only have a stock of 370s, so I've just turned this barrel down to roughly the same size. A couple of mil either way isn't going to hurt. But that's about 250, so we'll see how accurately it sits with the stock size. Slide that O-ring off. Very unique design for a hop arm. Pull that off. It's very familiar as to a normal MWS barrel. So it seems that the stock Scar barrels are a little bit less than 250. The internet lied to me. So let's have a measure and see how long this barrel is. So it's 261 the barrel is. Very weird size. Now for what I'm doing, losing that much barrel is not going to do anything. But in future, if you want a barrel, 260 is going to get you a lot closer. As well as that, we need a flamingo rubber. And I'm also going to put in a Titan nub. Now I've chosen the plastic Titan for this because you'll see there's no windows. We can't use the fins that we normally use on an MWS. And this was actually a buddy of mine rang me up the other day because he'd ordered some parts off me. And he said, about to fit your Titan nub. And just so you know, they don't have the fins on the hop unit, so it is easier to do this on the plastic one than the metal one. I did say to him, I asked him if he was happy just trimming them, and he said he was. So all we're going to do with the Titan for the Scar is we're just going to trim these fins off like that. Now I could put a Tokyo Marui unit in here, but honestly I don't really see the point. So we've got our flamingo rubber, we've got our 603 stainless barrel. So we can put those into the hop unit like so. Then take our Titan nub with the wings removed, like that. We'll test how this sits on here, and that sits absolutely perfect. So we'll rotate that back out of the way. Let's fit that onto this side so we can hold it, like so. Place this back together. Make sure we keep that Titan nub square, like that. Take our O-ring that we took off. Place that back around the hop unit. Just make sure the barrel is square and seated in, which it is. We can put that back on the top there. Take our outer barrel assembly, which is very nicely machined. Just roll that back. Just making sure this is all lined up there with me. Hate for it to rotate while we're trying to fit it into the gun. For some reason it doesn't. Oh, there we go. It's just a bit tighter. Very unique design. There we go. Fitted in. We take our wheel. Now we placed it down like this, and that's why I kept it like this, because on the reverse side we've got our assembly for it catching this pin. Now the good thing about this is it does have an opening, so if you were fitting it, you know, in fact you wouldn't have to remove this if you line up that opening in the hot wheel. So you could literally leave this wheel on and just rotate it to a certain point and then push it back into position. That's good to go. Put it on our minimalist setting there. Place our shim back over the hop wheel. Take our screws, which are a 2mm. Screw these back into place. Got a nice positive lock on the wheel, so it's not really going to adjust itself easy. We don't want to over tighten these screws, so just be careful. We take our bracket that we took off before, fit that back on the top there, and we can screw this back into place with a 2.5. And that bracket literally just stops your hop unit coming out the back, keeps it securely in place, like that. And that is our barrel changed. To put it back together, we basically just reverse the process. We can put it back in the slot like so, put our bracket back in the front, just line it up there so it's square, like that. Slide the barrel assembly back into position. We need our Torx to make sure these holes are lined up properly. If they're not, you just want to give it a bit of a wiggle. 1, 2. Locked into place. Do the ones that go into your hop assembly. You might just have to push this barrel section forward just to line the screws up if you pushed it in a bit too far. 2 on each side. like that, nice and easy. And that's our front end rebuilt. We put our lower rail back on. Again, nice and easy, 2 screws. Nice that they've used the same T20 fitment for all of these, so you haven't got to keep switching between tools. I do like that. There's nothing worse than having to use 5 different sizes of screwdriver to get to what you want to do. Now the barrel isn't going to be bad quality at all, so we can just keep that as a spare with the hot rubber, put it to one side. I do need to start labelling up my barrels. Take our bolt now, so we're going to work on this and get the actual nozzle out so we can grease up that spring. Just looking at the assembly of this, making sure there's nothing hidden. So we've got bearings and rollers on both ends of where it sits in the rails. Very nice. Do we, I'm guessing we just remove these screws. That will enable us to take the top assembly off. Never had the bolt apart before, so I'm just guessing. This is a 3mm Allen key. Let's see what's going on behind the curtain. So we have multiple rollers there. Very intricate indeed. So that actually looks like it's a buffer, like you have on the MWSs. So I'm thinking that we just take this E-clip off the back, and that should let us pull the nozzle out. Which I'm not a fan of these E-clips because they tend to like to turn themselves into projectiles. And it is sort of situated so it's captured on this part of the bolt because it's machined to capture it. Now we do need to be very careful here. What we could do if we want to be a little bit more careful is we can tap it with a hammer to get it off. I'm going to tap it off all the way because it's going to want to shoot off, so I've got it most of the way. And then I'm just going to do the rest with the screwdriver, like that. Push that out the back, that will release this forward. I'm trying to figure out how this assembly works. Do we pull it out like so, making sure you don't lose them little dowels, those little pins or stoppers or whatever you want to call them. We can pull the nozzle assembly out. The piston cup is dry. And this spring is the one that we want to be addressing. So what we need to do, we're going to extract this screw here. With a small Phillips, like so. Should then be able to pull out the nozzle spring. Like that, and the piece that holds the valve. We'll just pull the piston cup off. This looks like it's a normal GM 3.5 nozzle. We can pull the valve assembly out, and then what we can do, we can take the valve out. We can put on a Jaeger end pass. The spring go in there like so. You can actually take this to make installing the end pass a little bit easier. Slide this down, And then we can just wiggle that into position if I've got something long enough. There we go. Just make sure it sits in and moves freely, shouldn't be any resistance. Now this is one of the older NPAS models that wasn't modified for the clones, but they did fit the Guns Modified ones just fine. All NPASs now are modified to fit clones, so they're all pretty much the same. Just a bit of relief on the valve, just to the geometry on the clone MWS is a little bit different. So we need to situate this in, push it until we see the opening, so you'll be able to see through the valve there. You don't want to push it too far, so you just want to let that piece situate behind the valve and just slide it in. You'll see daylight. You can take your screw and put that on there, and that will hold the plastic piece that holds the valve in place. So I did order a one joule nozzle when I ordered all my other bits. I don't particularly need it because I can just fit an MPAS, but I thought it's good to have a spare, and if it's got all the valves and bits in, then happy days if I'm in a pinch. What I forgot to do, which was the main reason for me taking this out, and we can actually do it just by stretching this spring. We want to take some grease. We're basically just lubing up this spring. So you can spread your spring like that, and you just want to spread grease in between the coils. You'll have seen me do this on many videos to remove that spring twang noise. You can use this method on AEGs, on anything. If your spring is resonating, see, I'm not loading it up massively, I'm just spreading it between each coil. Now these do have that black plastic piece in, which is meant to stop this, but it never normally does. And grease that up there. And take the cup like that. And we're going to lube this baby up as well. Just apply a bit of grease to the surfaces that come into contact. And now we can load this back in. So orientate it correctly. Push that through. What I think they've actually done is they've put a thread on the back here. And I'm wondering, I'm just going to use one of these screws, and that's not the right size, whether they've done that to make assembly easier. So I have a bunch of screws here. So it looks like they've just added that thread. This is just a trigger box screw, I think, which enables you then to pull it enough, because you'd struggle to do this because there's no hole in it like on the others. Pull it, make a good seal with that little O-ring. Otherwise you really would struggle to do that. And then we're gonna, I tend to use a flathead and just push the back of it like so. Now, if it doesn't want to go in, it is quite tight like that, we can just use a little bit more pressure on this part. And if it really doesn't want to go in, line up the flathead on the back there and just tap it with a hammer. Like that. It'll index because, I think I showed you this before. It'll index because it's got this little machined piece in the middle here to perfectly space out that E-clip. And yeah, it feels very nicely made, this. We're going to pull the nozzle out slightly while we fit this part back in. Nice and easy. And then what I'm actually going to do is while I reassemble this. So I normally leave this till after, but everyone goes, you haven't greased this part, you haven't greased that part. Trust me, I do it after the fact. If the point of the video is not about, you know, maintenance and stuff, I pull my guns back apart and I clean it all up. So, but for the sake of this video, because I know I'm going to get it, I'm just going to grease these up anyway. Grease these little studs. Take our wheels and put them back on. I think these are plastic. They feel plastic. The grease should help them stay on. So you've got plastic wheels inside the bolt. And then you've got two bearings here. So we're just going to dab a bit of grease around the bearing. And then I'm going to run the brush on this one pen and just deposit some grease in there where obviously the receiver rides in. You can now place that back on if I've lined it all up correctly, like that. Take our two screws. Again, I will Loctite these, don't worry. I think my Loctite is in the other room. 4mm Allen key. No, 3mm Allen key. They all look the bloody same. There it is. Something like this I'd normally just alternate. I wouldn't go full tight one side. Just alternate the two. So you pull it in nice and square, especially with surfaces that ride on rails. Just go between the two, nip them up, and you're good to go. Now we can take this and put it back in the gun. Slide this assembly back on. So let's line this up here. And I know, I'm just going to say it because I know someone's going to mention it. Well, why didn't you grease all this bit? Well, think about it. This is moving, you can see it on the gun. If I grease all that, what's going to happen? All dust and dirt and everything's going to stick to it, and it's going to turn the grease into an abrasive, and we don't want that. So we've got our end pass in, we've got our barrel assembly in. This thing is pretty much ready to rock. I've got some accessories turning up tomorrow. So, you know, UPS being UPS, I had to do a riff declaration even though I didn't order any riffs. But what you're going to do, pay the BS tax, get the parts. Now this thing's ready to rock. And you'll see that spring twang noise has completely gone, which is what we wanted. Do I have a mag with a bit of gas in? That one over here. Let's see. Need some bebes. Swear I put things down there, I just misplaced them. Right, I've got some 0.3s in the Vanguard, so let's empty some of them out. You know, this Vanguard, since I got it, I didn't charge it when it turned up, and I haven't charged it since. And I have done thousands and thousands of rounds. And don't have my loading adapter, I think it's downstairs. We're getting packed for the weekend event. And I'm still running on that same charge that came from Vanguard, so I haven't had to charge it once, and it's still like 60+% on the battery charge. I hate doing these mags this way, it really does suck. I don't always want to go back in. There we go. So these are some 0.3s. Load these in. Press the button. Hope we've got gas in this mag. We should have, because I was using it the other day. Looks like we do. The end pass was wound in just ever so slightly. I can't remember what I was had it fitted into. Let's have a go. We need to come down a little bit on the power. We're doing 1.3. Yeah, sort of teetering off now, but not enough gas. Let's put a bit more in. I don't think I've done a Jaeger test for this Sky yet, but I should do. I've also been sent some new upgrade parts from Guns Modified for the 416 because they've got this parts kit which is meant to make the full auto a bit better. So one round sort of stopped on empty for some reason, but this is why I generally don't use these magazines anymore. They're just very... Every now and again they'll throw in an anomaly and it'll have you question everything. So there we go. Thanks for tuning in. Long-winded video, but I did a few bits. So that is how you upgrade your barrel, and that is how you fit an end pass, and that is how you get rid of your spring twang in your bolt if you need to. Thanks very much for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. It's like less than 50% of the main viewers of this channel are subscribed. We've just gone over 20,000. I think we're already approaching 20,100 or something like that. So thanks very much for that. You can get involved with the Jaeger Precision Discord community. The link will be in the description below. And as always, from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.